Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and welcome to the French Seams. This video is going to be about everything I got made up in July. So I got all 5 things made up, which is really great. So I'll do a quick chat about them now in a few minutes. Before we get started, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's watched my previous videos and also to everybody who's liked them and also commented. I really enjoy having the chats with you all, so it's really great, thank you. I'd like to also say a big thank you to Liz, who's on Instagram and YouTube at The Baker That Sews. On her YouTube channel recently, she gave me a shout out, so I saw a little uptick in my subscribers, which was really great. So thank you very much, Liz. Liz's channel is really great, so I'll link her details below and you should definitely check her out. So July passed in such a blur, it really did. We had a little holiday as a family, which was lovely, and then we got the most glorious spell of good weather. I think a lot of people did recently with a little bit of a heat wave, which was absolutely fabulous. So I did get to wear a few bits and pieces that I wouldn't ordinarily wear. It's funny when the good weather arrives, because when it happens, you're suddenly just in shorts and t-shirts and dresses and everything is outside and all the doors and windows are open, it's fabulous. And then the weather changes, and I don't know about you, but I feel really hard done by that the good weather is over and suddenly you're back in jumpers and socks and everything. So I'm hoping the good weather is going to come back now for St. August. It'd be really great to see it again. I think it really does lift the mood. So I'll start off with my first make in July, and this is what I'm wearing right now, which is the Closet Core Patterns Myelin Sweatshirt. So this fabric is absolutely beautiful. It's from Crafty Studio and it's kind of got a fleecy inside. It's absolutely lovely. So I've been wanting to make this for a little while. As I said in my last video, I have made a good few sweatshirt patterns like the Linden and the Tilly and the Buttons Billy, but this one is slightly different. It's quite bat wing shape almost, and it's got little elbow darts here. It's quite tricky to see. It's also got a back yoke, which is unusual enough in a sweater pattern. And then it's got diagonal seams here, which go into this really interesting gathered band at the waist. So I just thought this had really nice details and I was keen to give it a go. It came together so quickly. I was so surprised with all the pattern pieces. Usually in a jumper, you basically get a front to back of sleeves, that's it. But this one had a lot of pattern pieces. So the construction was really straightforward. The Closet Core Patterns instructions are great as always. And I really enjoyed making it. So I made most of it on my overlocker. You don't have to, that was the easiest for me. The thing is, you do need your sewing machine for the darts and for the tie and for the little slits in the waistband where you put in the gathered tie, and the rest of it comes together on the overlocker really quickly. So I really enjoyed making it. I have my notes here so I don't forget. So I added 1.5 inches to the bodice and 1 inch to the sleeve. So it is drafted for a 5'6", as I said before, I'm 5'9". It is meant to be quite cropped, and even though I added 1.5 inches, it still is quite short on me. I probably would, if I had enough fabric, I probably would add another 1/2 inch or 1 inch. I think they specified 1.6 meters in the instructions, and because I added the extra length, I literally just squeezed it out of, I think I had 1.5 meters. So they really are bang on those estimations. So this was literally what I could get out of the fabric, and I had the tiniest scraps left over, which is always really good. I made a size 12, just a straight size 12, which matches my measurements. So I haven't done this before, but I will say measurements and what I've made. Hopefully it's helpful to people. If you don't like that, then please let me know. And if you do, I'll keep doing it. So the size 12 is a 38 bust, 31 waist and a 40 hip. So I'm actually 37, 34, 42. But it said in the instructions that because of the way it's such a boxy shape, if you're grading between sizes, you don't really need to because of the ease in the pattern. So I just went with a straight size 12, which is absolutely fine. However, the only thing is, because I'm quite pear-shaped, it does mean that the gathered tie isn't as gathered as it should be, if you know what I mean. So because it's a little bit, I can't gather it in as much as I would like to here, which that's not a big deal, but it's absolutely fine. But I think if I was making it again, I would go up 1 size from my hips just so it gives the gathered band a little bit more shape and gather. But overall, I really enjoyed it. The neckband went in perfectly. For some reason, I had an issue with one cuff. I'm not quite sure why. The other cuff went in absolutely fine, but them's the breaks with sewing, which is absolutely fine. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend this pattern as something kind of different to just your usual sweatshirt pattern. I think it does come with matching jogging bottoms, I think. I must check that out. So, but no, I'm very happy with how the jumper came out. As I say, it's quite roomy, quite boxy, but it's just something different for your wardrobe, really. So I really enjoyed it, and this is my first make. So I'll now get changed into my second make. So this is my second make. This is the So Over It Edie top, and that comes as part of the Work to Weekend ebook. So I really enjoyed this pattern. I think it works beautifully with this fabric. This is from Beyond the Pink Door, and it's a beautiful Aqua lurex stripe fabric with little bits of glitter in the stripe, which I absolutely love. So it came up really well. As usual in Sew Over patterns, I make a size 12 grading to a 16 at the hips, which matches my measurements. So it goes 37, 32, 44. So that matches pretty well. And it is quite a snug fitting top, much like the Audrey that I made recently as well. So just to bear that in mind. So it comes to around hip level, and I think I added about an inch to the bodice. I didn't add anything to the sleeve length, so it's just the 3/4 length sleeves, which comes out quite nicely. So I was a bit concerned about the neckline, because as you can see, it's quite a boat neckline, and I was very worried about the gaping, but it's actually absolutely fine. The pattern did call for seam tape interfacing, which I think is a little kind of knit interfacing with almost a little chain thread inside to stabilize it. I didn't have that, so I just ploughed on and hoped for the best, really. When I was doing the neckline, I was kind of thinking, should I have overlocked it and then turned it under? But I'm glad I didn't, because I think that really would have stretched out the neckline. But it came together really well. Nice bit of stripe matching here, ooh and ah over that. And just, it's very simple. Basically, it's front back sleeves. The pinning of the stripes was interesting. I think I divided some people. What I did is I literally pinned every single stripe, because I thought it would be very obvious if the stripes didn't match. So I pinned every single stripe and then sewed it on my sewing machine first to baste it, and then overlocked the edges. And obviously I didn't overlock with pins. I took them out when I had sewed over them on the sewing machine, which I put on Instagram. I was really curious to see how many people do that. Under normal circumstances, I never would sew over pins, ever. I'd be too afraid to. But in this case, I went so slowly and so carefully and just kept an eye on everything, and it seemed to work really well. So I was interested to see what other people thought. So I put a poll out on Instagram, and I think it came up as 59% to 41% people who do sew over pins and people who don't sew over pins. So that was quite interesting, because it probably is a very much a sewing no-no, but maybe in certain circumstances you can. And I was wearing glasses, so if any pins went flying, hopefully I would have been protected, and I went super slowly. But under normal circumstances, where I just whiz stuff under the sewing machine, not a chance. Those pins are being whipped out before that. So no, it was really enjoyable make, and it matches very well with jeans, and just a really nice summer top. I think the colour is really pretty, and I think it's a very kind of summery colour and summer top. So I will now put on my third make. And this is make number 3. Spoiler alert, I love this make. I think I always go on about my favourite make of the month, and this is definitely my favourite make of the month, if not the year. I think the Audrey top might have been bumped off that now, to be fair. These are the Waves and Wild, previously made by Jack's mum, Heyday dungarees, and I absolutely love them. So I did, on my last video, I did mention about the line between children's TV presenter and being really chic and cool. I'm going to throw into that mix, I'm now just going to be Meryl Streep in Mamma Mia. So we'll just channel those vibes instead. So I absolutely adore these dungarees. They came up so well, and I am so pleased with them. So here they are, the little pockets. I'll pop in some full length pictures for you rather than jumping up in the chair. Doesn't that be very safe? They came together so nicely. So I did actually make a toile for these, which is very unlike me. I raided the hot press for an old bed sheet, and I was really glad I did that, because the pattern is drafted for 5'5", I think. So in a total route 1 way of doing things, I literally added 4 inches to the pattern. It does give very helpful 2 lines as to where to lengthen, shorten. It's somewhere around here, I think, and also on the legs as well. So I literally added 2 inches to the top, 2 inches to the bottom, but that was actually too long. So what I did in the end was I added an inch to the bodice and an inch and a half to the legs, and that was absolutely perfect. So I was really glad I did make up that toile. It really helped. This was such a quick make. I was so surprised. It's literally 2 pattern pieces for the legs and the straps and the pockets. The most time consuming bit about it is just pressing the pockets to make sure you've got them as a little square and top stitching, but the rest of it comes together so quickly. So, and this fabric is absolutely beautiful. It's an enzyme wash linen from Crafty Studio, and it is perfect for this pattern. So I can definitely see myself making more of these in the future. I got my nice little French seams badge here from Cali in the machine, which I think looks really cute. I made a medium grading to a large. So they do recommend that you really should go by your hip measurements because they're pull on. So this part here has to go over your hips. So because I'm quite pear-shaped, it's a little bit big when you're just wearing them, obviously, but you have to have that by pulling them on. So I went from a medium to a large, which worked out absolutely perfectly. The fit is quite forgiving, obviously, because you can shorten and lengthen these little ties. There is an option to make little loops here to tie them in instead, but and I think you can do the kind of dungaree buckles, but I really liked doing the buttonholes and the little knot. I think it looks really cute. These have been through the washing machine with the knot and everything, came out absolutely perfectly. I really like at the end where you roll up the ankles. I think that's really, really cute. What I am going to do when I get a bit of time is make a little tab for them. So similar to maybe the Bettine, the Chilean buttons has a little turn up thing on the cuff. I think I might do something similar here. So just make a little tab, maybe about that long, and sew it into the leg and then fold it over and tie a little button. I think that would look really cute, and also it would save from the legs rolling down, which, not that it's a big deal, but I just think it would add a little bit of a detail to the end, which would be really nice. The only thing about this pattern is there's no finished garment measurements, so you do kind of have to guesstimate, but that's why I was glad that I did toile this, and it seemed to work out really well. Yeah, I don't know what more I can say about these, really. I absolutely love them. I'll just check my notes. No, I think that was about it. But no, I really enjoyed making them, and I would definitely recommend them to anybody kind of on the fence about the dungarees. I'm now definitely a convert. It was really my first kind of trouser pattern. I know they're quite forgiving really as trouser sewing goes, but no, absolutely delighted with them. And they've got a nice pocket at the front and 2 big pockets here and 2 big pockets at the back, which is always good. So no, just really, really happy with them. So definite thumbs up for these ones. So now I'll move on and put on make number 4. Be exhausted with all this getting dressed. And this is make number 4. This is the Tilly and the Buttons Lotta dress, and the fabric is this outstanding tangerine tencel jersey from Crafty Studio. So I made the short sleeve version, and it is lovely and swooshy. So I did put a little video on my Instagram actually to show myself twirling around in it. I got this made just at the tail end of our heat wave, so I did have a day or 2 wearing it, and it was absolutely perfect. It was just great in the warm weather. I didn't put the pockets on, and I do miss pockets, I really do, but I just think in this fabric it'd be too heavy, and once I put my phone in, that would be the whole dress gone to the ground, which wouldn't be good. So I think for this fabric, I think it really wouldn't do with the pockets, either inseam pockets or the patch pockets, which is fine because I adore this dress regardless. It's got a nice little channel at the waist for elastic. I might have to redo that actually. I think it's little elastic, which really isn't the best. So we'll have to see how long that lasts, but it's absolutely perfect for the time being. I think with elastic, you may get what you pay for. I added 1.5 inches to the bodice to give it that kind of blousey look, so that when I reach up, it doesn't stretch entirely. And I made the knee length version and added 1 inch to the length there as well, which works out absolutely perfectly. Because it's the jersey version of the dress, it's got a little neckband here, which went in very nicely as well. And the sleeves are cuffed just with a little zigzag stitch. I might actually, in future with the jersey version, just do a straight stitch here because I don't need to stretch. And with the zigzag, I'm not mad on how the zigzag looks as a top stitch kind of thing, but I haven't got a cover stitch machine, so zigzag it is, but it looks absolutely perfect. And I think I mentioned before, the colour match thread from Anne-Marie in the Crafty Studio is absolutely perfect. It's really, really great. So for this, I made a size 4, grading out to a size 6. So the 4 in the bodice is perfect, and then the 6 in the hips was purely just to give it a kind of bit of a swish. Because it's quite a large skirt, you could really get away with not grading, but because the fabric was so lovely and swishy, I did want to go true to my measurements and give it that extra swish factor, and I'm really, really pleased I did. As always, Tilly's instructions are absolutely perfect, nothing to fault there. So just a really, really enjoyable make. I would be interested to see what the woven version is like. With that one, it's a facing as opposed to a neckband, and it would come out probably a little bit more structured depending on your fabric, and maybe I could put pockets in that one. So I think I will definitely make this in the future. It'd be lovely, and maybe add the sleeves as well, so they're nice. The sleeves start here basically in the sleeve pattern, so I think it would look really, really pretty. So yes, and I did get to, I think if you saw my Instagram, it does match an Aperol spritz for anybody who wants to go down that road. It does match perfectly. So who doesn't want to match their cocktail to their dress? So now I will go and put on my fifth and final make. And here's my final make. This is the Cali shirt dress from Closet Core Patterns. So 2 Closet Core patterns this month. So I absolutely love this as well. I think it came out really, really well. I'm really happy with it. This beautiful linen blend fabric, that should have been, blue and white stripe is from Culture and Stitch, and it's absolutely beautiful. It just pressed so beautifully, and with this lovely crisp fabric you can get beautiful points in the collar, and everything just stays where you put and everything. It's absolutely brilliant. So very, very happy with this. They got little short sleeves on it with little cuffs, and I did make the full shirt dress version, so again I'll pop in some pictures of full length. I've just thrown it on over my jeans, never mind. So just really, really happy with it, and I did manage to do the little embroidery on the pocket, which I'm delighted about. So it's a little tiny coffee cup, a little croissant, and the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower mightn't be long for this world. I ironed it and it didn't come out too well, but these 2 little boyos are just brilliant. So these are from Brittany Pompadour, which is a lovely little embroidery kit that you get, that you stick on the little sticker and then embroider over it, and then the sticker washes away. So it actually didn't take too long at all. So I finished the shirt, and then it was just maybe a night or 2 sitting in front of the TV embroidering. My poor husband was wondering what I was doing. I was like, I'm making a croissant. What do you think I'm doing? So really, really pretty. I'm really happy with it. And on the back, I've got my little labels. Sewing is the best, from Cali in the Machine. So a little bit rude, but I will link them below because they're super fun. So this has a yoke at the back, and I did the burrito method, which worked out perfectly as well. It gives a really, really nice finish. And I think I did the inverted pleat, I think, at the back, which gives a beautiful line at the back of the shirt. It's got a lovely collar, so that went in absolutely fine. There was no issue with that. It's the collar stand, the under collar, the top collar, which looks really, really good, and the nice little cuffs. The hem is finished with self-binding, which came out really nice. Let's see if I can lift that up. Can you see that there? Which looks really pretty actually in the stripes, because it comes in diagonal stripes, which is really cute. So that all went in absolutely perfectly as well. And these buttons I ended up actually harvesting from one of my husband's old work shirts, but I think they match really well as well. So yeah, it came together really well. As I said previously, I have made 2 Cali shirts before, but just the shirt versions. This is my first shirt dress version of it, and really happy. So I added 2 inches to the length of the shirt dress, which is absolutely perfect. It hits just to the knee. I made a size, let me check my notes, apologies. I made a size 10 grading to a 14. So I had the 10 previously from when I made the shirts before. It's a little bit oversized, so I wouldn't usually be a 10 in Closet Core Patterns, and I did still grade to the 14, just purely because in the shirt dress when you sit down you still want a little bit of room and comfort. I didn't want to be too snug in the hip region, if you know what I mean. So no, absolutely delighted with this make, and I just think it looks really cute in the stripes, and a lovely summery make. I haven't had a chance to wear this out and about yet, unfortunately, because the weather has left us, I should say. But as soon as it's warm enough, I definitely will, because I think it looks really, really cute and beautiful and summery. And actually looking at it now, I think I might need a shirt version of this as well. So that is my 5th and final make for myself, I should say. However, there were 2 bonus makes in July. I don't know what got into me in July. It was super productive. So I made 2 presents, and by the time this video comes out, the recipients will actually have got them. So I think I'm okay to show them. The first is little placemats for my sister who requested them, and this is them. So they got really crumpled, sorry, they were nicely ironed. So they're just simple little placemats in this lovely fabric, actually from Quilt Yarn Stitch as well, little tiny stars. And I've got little mitered corners which came out really nicely, and they're just lined on the inside with the same fabric. There's a brilliant tutorial on the By Hand London website on how to do the mitered corners, and it just comes out really nicely, and then I've just top stitched them. So just a really cute quick make, but I think they're really pretty. Funnily enough, when my sister chose this fabric, I said, oh, that's really nice actually, I really like that fabric. Didn't twig that I actually had this fabric myself, and I'd made myself my pin holder. I just made it a couple of years ago just with a piece of elastic, and I think it was a couple of pairs of old tights actually stuffed into a bowl that I stick my pins into. So it is actually this fabric. I'll pop in a picture. So obviously myself and my sister, great minds, think alike and choose the same fabric. So that was the first little thing I made. I think I made 4 of these placemats. And then the next thing was a hat for my lovely dad. So, and this is it here. So on my Instagram, I think you might have seen that I've made a few bucket hats before, and I just think they're lovely to make, and they're super practical, but just really, really cute. So the first ones I started off with were for my little boys. So my older boys one is in the wash because it gets used all the time, but this is the same one. Again, crumpled, sorry about that. I love that label. This one is for my littlest boy, and it's the Liesl & Co reversible hat. So it is fully reversible here. These are just my husband's old work shirts again, harvested, and it's just a really cute make for the summer, and both my boys do actually wear hats, which is wonderful. This one I copied what I'd seen in a ready to wear bucket hat, and it's a little bit of elastic at the very back, so for babies it's good because you get a little bit longer out of the hat, and it stays on their head a little bit longer as well, which is great. So I've made 2 of these already, and then I realised that you can get an adult version in Waves and Wild, and they've got the Sandcastle hat. So the Waves and Wild stuff is absolutely brilliant. Their size range is outstanding. I think it goes on some things, they have it from newborn to adult XL, which is an unbelievable range. So you get your money's worth out of the patterns for sure. So I was able to make my dad one. So I think my mum sneakily measured his head, and I think this is the adult's medium. So you might recognize this fabric as the linen from my dungarees, and then the inside is from this, which is great. So using up all the scraps, and I have this little label as well, which I think is great. So this one is fully reversible. Did I mention this is called the Sandcastle hat? Sorry, Waves and Wild Sandcastle hat. So I just think this came out really, really nicely as well, and I hope 1, it fits him, and 2, that he likes it. Hopefully he will. So that was all my makes for July. So there was quite a few of them. I've got a few plans now for August, so we'll see how that goes. Not as ambitious as July, but a few things to keep me ticking over, which I'm really excited about. Thank you very, very, very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. And also, if you'd like to leave a comment below, that would be great. I always enjoy having the chats. So thank you very much, everyone, and stay safe. Bye.